was going to start this video saying that I'm literally too busy to even care at this point. But the fact that I went out of my way to open up my camera, go here again after 4 months, and speak in front of it and talk about it says otherwise. Yes, I am busy, I work. But a friend of mine last night, a very good friend of mine, said that what if I'm just running away from the thing by trying to stretch myself thin? And then I did briefly mention this in that afternoon vlog, and I'm not really sure what to talk about since I've been putting it behind the back of my head, or mind rather. And I guess I would sum up how this entire breakup thing is going. You just reach a point where you think about it enough that when you do think about it, it's more of an, I wouldn't necessarily say annoyance, because that would be an understatement. For one, anything that I can associate with what happened, not just what happened during the split, but literally the time we spent together, it's still, how do I say this without making it sound like it's a bad thing? Because it's not a bad thing. To call it trauma would be too much. But one neat example, although not quite neat, would be I'm back in my hometown right now. I actually moved away for college, and my room, it's my own room, and a lot of fond memories took place in that room. It's more of the association rather than the room itself, but it does make me feel uneasy, and most especially when going around the city or the town, even though it's such a normal activity, when you when I rather lay my eyes upon or gaze upon something that is familiar, or where memories, very good memories took place. And this isn't even restricted in the relationship, but literally my senior high school life, anything that I can associate with that, even the most absurd of things. I was about to say perfume, but that's actually pretty common in these type of situations. But let's just say a hat, a shoe, what else? Ice cream, a restaurant. There's so much things that I can no longer do, which I'm supposed to be able to do and easily do. But it makes me sound like I'm blaming the thing, but I know this is a battle that I got myself into, and it's something that I should face with responsibility, because it's not again, I keep repeating this, but it's no one's fault. Shit happens in life, consequences, and I guess you realize that around month 6, where you're just laying there at 3 a.m. and you're just staring and you're thinking like, huh, that happened. And then depending on the mood and what happened throughout the day prior, it's either you cry your eyes out, or you smirk with a smile and reminisce with the good times. But then again, in my case, my memory association with objects and situations and circumstances are so strong, it's incredibly difficult for me to do something here in this hometown where everything happened without thinking about that. I remember making this UpCat video, which is the University of the Philippines. I actually have no idea what CAT stands for, which is quite funny now that I think about it. College admission test there. I still feel uneasy. Like I can it's my teeth are, yeah, but I don't want to make it seem like I've been damaged by this. I just don't want to think about it that way. Like I used to hyperventilate like badly back then. Is Now that I think about it, this marks the year 1 year of when I realized my second greatest regret in my life, which is not taking the UpCat. The UpCat results released April 19th last year, and I wasn't able to sleep that night for reasons that I'm not comfortable to disclose. But yeah, it's it's coincidence that month 9 and the release of the upcat results happens to coincide with one another. Because that's one of the, see how do I make that association? That basically makes this entire process far more difficult than it has to be. And my friends from senior high has made that clear that I'm making this far more difficult for me than it actually is. And it's frustrating, but it's what makes me a me. And I made so many videos about seven greatest lessons I learned in the past 2024, and then one of them was embracing your nature, and that there's no point in questioning all this. It's just the way I function, and you just have to live with it. And month 6 to 9 isn't more about dealing with the emotions itself, because I think the first 3 months, or specifically the month 3 to 5 was basically me just trying to accept everything, which is looking back kind of that took a while. And yeah, let me go back. Month 6 to 9 was more about dealing with the aftermaths of the yeah that happened. Like okay, that happened, and then what? And okay, that happened. Now you're supposed to deal with these things because that happened. And one of the hardest or most difficult things that I had to do because of that was pretend the past 2 years did not happen. And that's not me, that's not my characteristic. I don't walk away. I don't like walking away because I know what it feels like to be left. I didn't want to leave. But when running around the oval, I think I've explained this in a mental time travel video. Let's say I'm doing my laps around the oval in my new campus. It's I can simulate it enough or pretend enough I, that I'm still jogging in the same campus I was in during senior high school, and then my mental conditioning of where I am, or rather when I am, kind of blurs. And there just came a realization that the reason why I keep getting left behind by everybody, why everybody has an easy time moving forward with their lives, is because I have this tendency to stay, not literally, but more figuratively. And again, this is not just in the context of the relationship, because yeah, I just value connection that much. But when your values hurt you, it kind of turns your entire world upside down. And figuratively, I had to just end myself. And I've actually been counting the days ever since my quote unquote execution. Like, this is the first time a Homer died with our own hands. It's an analogy I use, Homer's in my head. I mean, only I can understand that, or I don't know. It's terrible. And I still feel guilty that I'm doing something I know I'm always trying to prevent for so long. That's why I was dwelling. That's why I was still celebrating monthsaries, even though it was just me. That's why I was still counting the days. That's why I was still holding on to things that were part of the relationship. And, things that my friends gave me, mementos, just remembrances. But man, my nostalgia and my reminiscence and my sentimentality tendencies are so high up the roof. It's just making this thing a lifelong, not an issue, not a concern, not a burden. Perhaps you could call it a cross in the context of Christianity. It's just something that I have to carry with moving forward. And I guess that would pretty much describe month 9. I'm at a point where know I can't just shake this off. And it happened, and that's it. What do I do now? And a short term answer would be to work my ass off, and that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to grind in every aspect of my life. Maybe part of it is insecurity, but that makes me sound like a loser. But vulnerability is a theme on this channel that I'm trying to advocate and promote. Let's be vulnerable, because yeah, it's difficult. It's still difficult, but I guess I've just okay, the cheesiest thing to say that I've gotten used to the pain and like the Joji song, I live in a constant fear and misery. Do you miss me anymore and all that? But it's more like I've dealt with this enough that even the triggers, it's more like, oh my gosh, I'm getting triggered again. Okay, I haven't dealt with them because I haven't dealt with them. Yeah, maybe that's for month 12, which is July 19, would mark the 1 year anniversary breakup. Yeah, I'm the type of person who would even celebrate breakups. See, so I claim that I reached hedonic baseline a few days ago, literally 3 days prior of recording this video, and I could say that, but not quite. Like I am starting to worry about other things other than that because the past 8 months, my main concern, like the main thing that's been making me feel weird, not weird, it's indescribable, uneasy, was that like when the thought hits, like oh my gosh, it's there again. Some other things are taking up space, or not only taking up space, sharing that streak of anxiety. So it's not just that anymore. I can definitely assure or confirm that for my future selves watching this. So I guess I said I'm not gonna edit this. I didn't cry because yeah, it's not emotional anymore. It's more of a psychological thing and practical. Yeah, like yeah, it's a practical thing to deal with. And yeah, what else? What am I supposed to say? Is this the outro now? Okay. Future homers, I still do dream about, yeah, from time to time. I just did literally a few. I took a nap, I took a rest, and I hate resting. I guess workaholism has consumed me. I can't rest without feeling guilty. I woke up with a sour mood because I felt like I wasted the day. Then I remembered I dreamt about, yeah, and then now I'm recording this. And month 9, 12 minutes. No one's gonna watch this now because it's way too long. It should have been, but okay. I'm moving forward, but I'm not letting go. Is what I said. But at this point, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Maybe forgiving myself for something that I know I didn't even, I didn't even do anything bad. But yeah, forgiving myself for something I didn't even, for a sin I didn't even commit. Like non outro.